Floating markets are one of the most vibrant sights in Asia, where trade takes place right on the water. In Thailand, Vietnam, and Indonesia, vendors paddle boats filled with fruits, spices, and flowers, while buyers approach them in other vessels. This bustling water bazaar resembles a festival. The scents, voices, movement, and sunlight reflecting on the waves create a lively atmosphere. This has been the way of trading here for centuries, preserving the tradition and spirit of direct interaction. Floating markets are not just a means of making a living. They are the cultural heart of the region. They demonstrate that even on water, a whole world of commerce and joy can be built. You can make change for $1 in almost 300 ways, specifically 293. Coins of different denominations create thousands of combinations: pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, and half dollars. Mathematicians refer to this as an example of combinatorics, the science of counting all possible variations. At first glance, it seems like just spare change, but in reality, it's a small universe of numbers. This play with coins illustrates how complex our monetary world is and how even the simplest things hold a whole mathematics within them. The next time you receive change, consider that you might be holding a miniature formula for infinity. Once, several centuries ago, there was a strange way to treat toothache in Europe. People would place a live frog against their cheek. Yes, seriously. It was believed to draw out the pain. Another method involved wearing a tooth pulled from a wolf as an amulet. Medieval medicine was a mix of desperation and magic, but sometimes surprisingly accurate. The herbs used back then actually had pain-relieving properties, so even in ancient beliefs you can find grains of real science, just wrapped in folklore and superstition. Imagine a tree that glows in the dark like a lamp. Such a thing actually exists. It's called a bioluminescent tree. Scientists have managed to combine the genes of glowing fungi with plant DNA, and now some saplings emit a soft green light at night. While this is still an experiment, the idea is simple: to create natural lanterns that could illuminate streets without electricity. Perhaps in the future, cities will shine not with neon, but with living trees whispering in the wind. Nature and science have once again come together to bring light to the world, literally from within the leaves. Ghost cities of China are true monuments to human ambition and economic paradoxes. Vast neighborhoods filled with skyscrapers, parks, and highways stand nearly empty, built for millions of residents. The most famous example is Ordos, designed for 1 million people but inhabited by only thousands. Here, silence reigns. Storefronts are vacant, and the roads are impeccably clean with no cars in sight. The reasons for this phenomenon vary, from inflated population growth forecasts to challenges with employment and housing prices. These cities are astonishing. They appear modern, yet lack life. True mirages of the urban era. Have you ever heard of quantum tunneling? It's when a particle passes through a barrier that, logically, it shouldn't be able to overcome. Imagine throwing a ball at a wall and suddenly it appears on the other side without breaking it. At the quantum level, this is normal. Electrons do it all the time. This effect is what makes flash drives and microchips work. Quantum mechanics is like the universe's mischievous child. It knows the rules, but sometimes deliberately breaks them. Mosquitoes once helped solve a crime, and this is not a detective story but a real case. In Finland, the police found a crushed mosquito in a stolen car. Forensic experts took a blood sample from its body and were able to determine the DNA of the criminal. Thus, the tiny insect became the key to the solution. It turned out that female mosquitoes feed on blood to lay eggs, often taking evidence with them. This case has gone down in the history of forensics as an example of how nature can aid justice. Even the smallest piece of life can tell the truth if you know how to listen. The ancient Egyptians were the first to create a calendar that was remarkably accurate for its time. They divided the year into 12 months of 30 days and added 5 extra days to account for the solar cycle. This calendar helped predict the flooding of the Nile, a crucial event for agriculture. The Egyptians observed the stars, particularly the bright Sirius, whose appearance in the sky signaled the start of the new year. This invention became one of the greatest achievements of ancient science, as it allowed people to measure time not only by the sun but also by the stars. The scent of freshly cut grass that we love so much is actually not a fragrance of nature, but a cry for help. When the blade of a scythe or lawnmower cuts the grass, the plants release special substances known as green volatile compounds. This chemical signal warns neighboring plants, "Attention, we are being cut." In response, nearby blades of grass activate protective reactions to prepare for damage. Meanwhile, humans perceive this signal as a pleasant summer aroma. Ironic, isn't it? We enjoy a scent that signifies pain and distress for the grass itself, yet without this scent of alarm, summer might not feel quite so recognizable. Nature knows how to smell beautiful even in suffering. In northern Australia lives the cassowary, a bird that looks like a descendant of dinosaurs. Standing nearly as tall as a human with a blue helmet on its head and a claw sharp as a knife, it commands respect. Cassowaries rarely attack, but if provoked, they can leap and deliver a kick powerful enough to puncture metal. Scientists consider them the most dangerous birds on the planet, yet also among the oldest. They play a crucial role in the ecosystem by dispersing seeds, helping the forest to thrive. True guardians of the tropics, formidable yet fair. On distant Pluto lies a glacier that rivals the size of Texas and Oklahoma combined, and it looks absolutely fantastic. Scientists have named it Sputnik Planitia. And this glacier is made not of water, like on Earth, but of frozen nitrogen. Moreover, it is not static. The surface flows slowly, like a living organism. In the center of the area there is a shape resembling a giant heart, which has become a symbol of Pluto in images from the New Horizons spacecraft. Despite the freezing temperatures of -200 degrees, this planet teems with its own kind of life, geological, not biological. This glacier reminds us that even billions of kilometers from the sun, the world can be remarkably active and beautiful. Pluto seems to say, I may be small, but I'm not boring. Now, a bit about you, or rather, about your body. There are more bacteria living in our bodies than our own cells, and most of them are beneficial allies. They help digest food, strengthen the immune system, and even influence our mood, as the gut is connected to the brain through the nervous system. Scientists refer to this as the second brain. When we eat well, these microscopic residents thrive and make us feel more energetic. So, you could say that inside each of us is a tiny universe, and we are its cosmos. Take care of it, and it will surely take care of you in return. Now imagine a person who has turned their body into a work of art. Specifically, a collection of 516 piercings. This is Rolf Boltz, a Brit known as the Man with Horns. He has piercings everywhere, on his face, ears, and body, along with horn-shaped implants and numerous tattoos. He says that for him, this is not just about appearance, but a form of self-expression, an art that is always with him. Reactions vary. Some are scared, others are amazed. But Rolf believes that what matters is not the opinion of others, but the feeling of freedom. Indeed, his story reminds us that being yourself is already an act of courage. Parrots are the true extroverts of the bird world. They don't just mimic words, they understand intonations and emotions. One famous parrot named Alex participated in scientific experiments and knew over 100 words, could distinguish colors and shapes, and even answered questions like, "What do you want?" by choosing between apple and grape. When Alex passed away, his last words were, "Be good, I love you." At that moment, it seems that the differences between humans and animals aren't so vast. It's just that we have different beak shapes. Have you ever wondered how many thoughts pass through your mind in a day? Scientists estimate it's around 70,000. It's like an endless stream of little lightning bolts, from simple ones like what to eat to profound thoughts that can change your life. Most of them zip by without leaving a trace, but some linger and turn into ideas, dreams, or solutions. Our brains work non-stop even while we sleep, sorting experiences, discarding the unnecessary and retaining what's important. Sometimes it feels overloaded, but it's this chaos of thoughts that makes us alive. So if you find yourself constantly pondering, don't be hard on yourself. Your brain just loves to be in motion. Have you ever thought about how much time we spend at traffic lights? All that time under red turns out to be not so short. On average, a person spends about 6 months of their life just waiting for the green light. Those seconds in traffic jams and at intersections accumulate unnoticed, adding up to a whole half year of waiting. Strange, right? Yet there's something philosophical in these little pauses. We rush so much that we forget to stop, and the traffic light seems to say, "Hey, take a breath, relax, look around." Sometimes even those moments of waiting can become a rare opportunity to be with ourselves. Imagine a giant leaf the size of a dining table, capable of supporting the weight of a child. This is the Victoria Amazonica, the queen of aquatic plants. Its leaves can grow up to 3 meters in diameter and can hold up to 70 kilograms. The upper side is smooth and shiny, while the underside is covered with ribs resembling a bridge framework that evenly distributes the load. When you look at these leaves floating on the calm waters of the Amazon, they seem like green plates for giants. The flower of the Victoria lasts only 2 days. On the first day it is white, on the second it turns pink, and then it sinks underwater. A short but incredibly beautiful life. The light you see when you look at the sun is actually the past. Yes, that glow touching your face in the morning left the surface of the star 8 minutes ago. It may seem trivial, but it's a small journey of 150 million kilometers. Every sunny morning is a glimpse into the past, a beam that has traveled to you through space and time. And if you think about it, we live in a constant dialogue with the cosmos. Everything we see in the sky is yesterday's light. Even an ordinary sunrise becomes magical when you realize you're witnessing light that began its journey long before you woke up. If you love looking at the stars, know this. Some of them are not stars at all, but planets that simply reflect sunlight. Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, and Mars are often visible to the naked eye and have misled people for centuries. Venus is particularly bright. It has been called the morning star and the evening star, with people thinking they were two different objects. Only later did astronomers realize that it was the same planet. So, when you gaze at the evening sky, remember, not everything that shines generates its own light. Sometimes it just beautifully reflects someone else's. Hippos sweat a red liquid that makes it look like they are covered in blood. In reality, this is not blood, but a special secretion that acts as a natural sunscreen and antiseptic. In the hot African climate, this sweating protects the animal's skin from overheating and microbes. Scientists refer to this liquid as blood sweat due to its color, but it contains not a drop of blood. Interestingly, the sweat shines in the sun, giving the hippo a sinister yet captivating appearance. It's as if nature has provided them with their own sunscreen built right into their skin. When you look at a rainbow, it seems like there's only one, but in reality, each has a secret sister. A second, pale, inverted rainbow. It's just that it's almost invisible. This phenomenon is called a double rainbow. The first appears when sunlight reflects inside water droplets once, while the second occurs when it reflects twice. Because of this, the colors are arranged in reverse order, and a dark zone forms between the arcs, the Alexander's band. For centuries, people have regarded it as a magical sign, while scientists see it as proof that even a simple raindrop can be an artist. Nature isn't afraid to repeat itself. It simply adds a second layer of beauty. Some snakes still bear traces of their ancient ancestors with legs. Boas and pythons have tiny bony protrusions near their tails, rudimentary legs resembling tiny spurs. These remnants are mute witnesses to the fact that millions of years ago, their forebears walked on 4 limbs. Over time, evolution did its work, transforming them into perfect gliding hunters. Scientists refer to these bones as windows to the past, as they prove that nature does not erase the old but merely hides it deeper. Each of these snakes seems to carry a small souvenir from the age of dinosaurs. Fawns are born scentless, and this is perhaps one of nature's most brilliant inventions. After all, scent is the first way a predator can locate its prey, so its absence is a form of salvation. When a female gives birth, she leaves her young in tall grass and moves away to avoid drawing attention. The baby lies still, making no movement and emitting no odor. Even a wolf passing just a few meters away might not notice it. The mother returns only to feed and then leaves again. This clever strategy helps the young survive in their first weeks when they are particularly vulnerable. And if you think about it, there's something touching in this silent, invisible waiting. It's as if nature itself is hiding its young until they grow stronger. Sometimes a tiny detail can change everything, and the New York Times proved this with an example that has gone down in design history. In 1967, the editorial team decided to remove a tiny dot from the end of its logo. It seemed like a trivial matter, but that dot consumed a significant amount of ink each year. After calculations, it turned out that the newspaper saved hundreds of dollars annually, which translates to thousands in today's terms. This decision became a symbol of frugality and demonstrated how attention to detail can yield real benefits. Now, this case is shared with designers and economists, reminding them that sometimes great things start with a dot, or rather, its absence. Have you ever thought about how gravity on Earth isn't the same everywhere? We tend to assume that pulling down is uniform, but the weight of objects varies slightly in different locations. This is because the planet isn't a perfect sphere. it's slightly flattened at the poles. Gravity is stronger where the surface is closer to the center, like at the poles, and weaker at the equator. The density of the rocks and altitude above sea level also play a role. So, standing on the summit of Everest, you weigh a bit less than you do at sea level. Not a huge difference, but nice, right? Nature even gives you a bonus, a gravitational discount. If you found yourself at night by the Kawaijan volcano on the island of Java, you would think you had entered another world. Imagine a slope flowing with bright blue flames as if the moon itself were on fire. This astonishing effect is caused by sulfur gases that burst from the ground and ignite upon contact with air. The flames are so hot they can melt metal, yet they appear magical, bright like liquid neon. Tourists come from all over the world to witness this wonder, as it is simply invisible during the day. Workers extract sulfur in these extreme conditions, while at night the slopes glow like a portal to a fantastical realm. It's one of those places where nature reminds us it can create spectacles that no artist could replicate. If you were a dung beetle, you would need your own navigator. But these tiny workers have already acquired the oldest possible one, the stars. At night, they navigate by the Milky Way, rolling their precious dung ball in the right direction. Amazingly, even with their simple eyes, they can detect the light of the stars. Scientists have conducted experiments. When the sky is obscured, the beetles get lost and start to circle around as if their compass is broken. So, one could say that these humble creatures are among the most romantic beings. They are guided not by maps or GPS, but by the stars themselves. The story of the most famous chocolate chip cookie begins with a simple deal that forever changed the world of baking. In the 1930s, Ruth Wakefield, the owner of a small tavern, invented the recipe by adding Nestlé chocolate pieces to her dough. The cookies became incredibly popular, and instead of selling the recipe, Ruth struck a brilliant agreement. The company would print her recipe on their packaging, and she would receive a lifetime supply of chocolate. Thus, the famous Toll House cookies were born, ushering in a new era of home baking. Every time you enjoy a chocolate chip cookie, remember that its flavor is backed not just by a recipe, but by a clever deal and the generosity of a culinary spirit. When you look at a duck, the world seems calm. It glides smoothly across the water, seemingly without effort. But if you look beneath the surface, its legs are paddling furiously. This has become a metaphor for life. On the outside, we often appear composed, while inside we're working hard. Ducks are masters of hidden effort. Their legs, by the way, don't feel the cold because the blood vessels are intertwined in a special way, reducing heat loss. So even when the lake is frozen, the duck remains unruffled. It simply knows that the key is not to panic on the surface, but to keep working underwater. Octopuses are true aliens underwater, as they have 3 hearts and 9 brains. The central brain controls the body, while the 8 smaller ones manage each tentacle independently. This allows each arm to act almost autonomously, making the octopus one of the most agile and intelligent creatures on the planet. Their blood is blue due to copper rather than iron like ours, and they can change the color of their skin in a fraction of a second. Scientists believe that octopuses are the best candidates for the role of intelligent beings of the ocean. If there were an Academy of Sciences underwater, these slippery geniuses would surely be teaching biology and camouflage there. The term honeymoon didn't come about by chance. It has its roots in ancient Babylon. After the wedding, the bride's father would gift the newlyweds a month's supply of honey and mead to ensure their union was sweet and fruitful. Since then, the first 30 days of marriage have been called the honeymoon, a time of love, peace, and enjoyment. Over time, this tradition spread worldwide, evolving into a symbol of romantic getaways for newlyweds. Today, couples travel for their honeymoons, but the essence remains the same: to savor the beginning of their new life together. It's amusing how this ancient drink has become a metaphor for happiness that has endured for thousands of years. You may have noticed that birds start singing louder before it rains. This isn't poetry, it's physics. Before a storm, the pressure drops, the air becomes denser, and sound travels better. Birds sense the changes in the weather and take the opportunity to sing out. Additionally, insects fly lower before rain, which means it's time to hunt. So when you hear a chorus of birds in the air, it's not just a song, it's a natural forecast. Listen closely next time. Your personal meteorologist might just be a sparrow. Imagine a forest where hundreds of trees seem to have decided to dance, frozen in strange poses. This enchanting landscape can be found in Poland near the village of Gryfin. This forest is called the Crooked Forest. Each tree bends at its base, as if someone once intentionally curved them and then let go. Why are they like this? Scientists are still debating. Some believe it was human intervention. Perhaps the trees were bent for furniture or ship planks. Others are convinced that nature is to blame. Snow, wind, or unusual magnetic fields. Regardless, the place looks magical. Tourists come here as if stepping into a fairy tale to unravel the mystery of the bends, leaving with a sense of having touched a living enigma. If there were a superhero snake, it would be the taipan, the most venomous snake on Earth. Just one drop of its venom is enough to kill 100 people. Yet, despite its terrifying reputation, the taipan is actually quite a humble creature. It lives in the wilds of Australia and avoids humans. Its strength lies not in aggression, but in efficiency. The taipan moves with lightning speed, hunts small animals, and disappears into the sands like a shadow. This snake, introvert, reminds us that strength doesn't always manifest in attack. Sometimes it's about knowing how to stay away from trouble. Have you ever wondered why sparrows don't fall off branches when they sleep? It's simple and brilliant. They have a lock in their feet. When a bird lands, the tendons in its legs automatically tighten and its toes grip the branch securely. To release their grip, they need to straighten their legs. But when they're asleep, those legs are bent. This allows a sparrow to nap peacefully, even upside down. Nature seems to have given them a built-in carabiner to prevent them from falling at the sweetest moment. Sleeping on a branch isn't a miracle. It's engineering from evolution itself. Imagine a fish smaller than a fingernail, just 7.9 millimeters long. This is the tiniest fish on Earth, Paedocypris progenetica, found in the swamps of Indonesia. It's transparent, scaleless, and almost weightless, weighing less than a grain of sand. Scientists can even see its internal organs under a microscope. Despite its microscopic size, this little fish plays an important role in the ecosystem, feeding on microscopic plankton. It's amazing how nature creates such miniature masterpieces. Even the tiniest creature can maintain the balance of a vast world. The King of Sweden, while wearing a crown, does not hold political power. His role is symbolic. He opens parliament, presents awards, represents the country at ceremonies, and embodies its unity. Modern Swedes view the monarchy with ease, as a beautiful tradition rather than a source of authority. Interestingly, the king rides a bicycle and tries to be as ordinary as possible. He resembles a kind grandfather more than a ruler. This approach makes the monarchy vibrant and human, demonstrating how a crown can symbolize continuity rather than power. On the other side of the world, in the snowy forests of the Amur region, lives the Amur leopard, one of the rarest predators on the planet. Fewer than 100 remain in the wild. Its fur is thicker and longer than that of its African relatives, allowing it to withstand the cold. The leopard moves silently, like a shadow on the snow, and can leap up to 8 meters in length. Thanks to conservation programs, the population of these animals has started to grow. The Amur leopard is a symbol of hope. Even when a species is on the brink of extinction, nature still has a chance to regenerate if given a helping hand. The brain of a cat is remarkably similar to that of a human, about 90% alike. We have a similar structure in the cerebral cortex, which is responsible for emotions, memory, and even dreams. Perhaps that's why cats seem so understanding. They can sense our moods, recognize our voices, and even anticipate our actions. When a cat looks at you thoughtfully, it is genuinely analyzing what's happening, like a little philosopher on 4 paws. Scientists are convinced that cats are much smarter than we tend to think. They simply don't need praise. They already know who's in charge. Hedgehogs, despite their prickly appearance, are excellent swimmers. Their tiny bodies and a layer of light fat under their skin help them stay afloat like miniature rafts. They calmly cross ponds and streams, moving with surprising agility. If necessary, a hedgehog can even dive and hold its breath for a short time. For such a small creature, this is a true survival skill in any conditions. Scientists suggest that their ability to swim aids in foraging for food and escaping danger. So beneath those spines lies a true adventurer, a quiet yet brave traveler through the forest. Many people don't realize that a regular kitchen can become a source of panic and dread for some individuals. Magirocophobia is not a whim or laziness, it is a serious fear of cooking. As soon as such a person approaches the stove, their heart starts racing and their hands tremble. Even the mere thought of frying something triggers anxiety. This fear may stem from a traumatic experience or an heightened sense of responsibility, fear of ruining the food or getting burned. Often, people with this phobia avoid cooking for years, opting for takeout, or seeking help from loved ones. Interestingly, psychologists successfully address this fear through gradual exposure and breathing techniques. Over time, even someone who once feared the frying pan can rediscover the joy of sizzling oil and the aroma of a home-cooked meal. When you eat honey, know that you're tasting not just sweetness, but a piece of eternity. Honey is the only food that never spoils. Archaeologists have found jars of honey in Egyptian pyramids over 3,000 years old, and it was still edible. The secret lies in its composition, low water content, high sugar levels, and natural acids that prevent bacteria from surviving. Bees are true alchemists, transforming nectar into liquid gold. So, a spoonful of honey in your tea is not just delicious. It's a sip of history that has survived pharaohs and will endure for our grandchildren. You've probably heard of the secret society known as the Illuminati. In popular culture, they are often portrayed as invisible puppeteers controlling politics and the economy. However, the reality is simpler and no less interesting. The Illuminati did exist, but only for about a decade, from 1776 to 1785. It was founded by Professor Adam Weishaupt in Germany, who envisioned a world governed by reason and science rather than the church. The order was eventually banned, but rumors of its resurrection persist to this day. Perhaps people just enjoy the idea that someone is pulling the strings of chaos. The brightest fruit on the planet grows in Africa and is called Pollia condensata. This bright blue fruit reflects light so intensely that it appears to glow from within. Its color is not due to pigment. Rather, it is an optical effect created by the structure of the cells that reflect light like a mirror. Scientists say it is the brightest natural shade of blue in the living world. Although the fruit is inedible, it has become a subject of study, inspiring engineers to create new materials with unusual luster. Pollia is an example of how nature can create beauty that surpasses even the boldest human inventions. When Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone, he suggested answering with "ahoy," like sailors, instead of "hello." Yes, if things had gone differently, we might be starting our calls with a cheerful "ahoy" for today. For a while, people actually used that word, but Thomas Edison found it inconvenient and proposed the shorter "hello," which quickly caught on. Thus, one decision changed the everyday speech of the entire world. It's amusing that even a simple greeting has its own history. And who knows, maybe in some parallel universe, people still answer the phone like true ship captains. The shape of Pringles chips is a true masterpiece of mathematics and engineering. It's called a hyperbolic paraboloid, and it's what keeps the chips from breaking and allows them to stack perfectly. This shape evenly distributes pressure, making each piece remarkably crispy. Moreover, this design enabled them to be packaged in the iconic cylindrical cans that have become a symbol of the brand. This is an example of how science and food can work together. The next time you open a can of Pringles, remember that you're holding not just snacks, but the result of precise calculations and brilliant geometry. In southern China, there is a place where time seems to slow down, the village of Bama. Known for its centenarians, here, almost every second resident celebrates their 100th birthday, and this is no exaggeration. Scientists have been trying for years to uncover the secret of the locals. And it seems that it's not just about genetics. The air is clean, the water is rich in minerals, and the diet mainly consists of fresh vegetables and herbs. People stay active, work the land, and greet each day with a smile. The elders themselves insist that their longevity is a result of harmony with nature and inner peace. In Bama, no one is in a hurry, no one is angry, and no one complains, which is why life flows here long and remarkably bright, like a warm stream among the mountains. Chemistry can create real gold, but not the kind pirates dream of. Scientists have learned to turn lead and other metals into gold. At the atomic level, this has become possible through nuclear reactions, where protons are removed and added to atoms, literally changing them. The only problem is that this process requires enormous energy and costs millions of dollars. The gold produced ends up being more expensive than the entire apparatus. So it seems that alchemists were right, just unaware of how impractical it was. Still, the dream of turning lead into gold is, after all, chemical poetry, wouldn't you agree? Sometimes fears can be so unusual that they seem fictional. For example, there is cainophobia, the fear of empty spaces. People with this rare disorder feel anxious when they find themselves in a room without furniture or in a vast empty square. They feel comfortable when the space is filled with things, people, and details. For others, such emptiness represents freedom, but for them it's a challenge. Imagine walking into a new house with no furniture and feeling uneasy, as if the air is pressing down on you. It's a strange yet real reminder of how differently each of us perceives the world around us. Mexico lives under the watchful gaze of the fiery giant. The Popocatépetl volcano, affectionately known by locals as El Popo. Just 50 kilometers from Mexico City, it constantly reminds us of its presence with plumes of smoke and rumblings from deep within the earth. This volcano is among the most active on the planet. Despite the risks, thousands of people live nearby, and tourists come to witness its power firsthand. When you look at El Popo, you feel a sense of awe. Nature truly knows how to be both beautiful and dangerous at the same time, as if demonstrating who is in charge. Sea otters are the true romantics of the ocean. When they sleep, they hold paws to avoid drifting apart in the waves. Scientists call this rafting. Entire rafts of otters form, drifting on the water as they sleep. Sometimes they cling to kelp like an anchor to avoid being swept away. It looks so heartwarming that even the toughest sailors can't help but smile. But behind this cuteness lies practicality. The ocean current is strong, and staying together means survival. It's amazing how a simple touch of a paw becomes a symbol of trust, friendship, and warmth even amidst the cold waves. Now let's talk a bit about the romance of the night sky. You've probably seen shooting stars, but in reality they aren't stars at all. They are tiny particles of cosmic dust burning up in the atmosphere. They enter at speeds of up to 70 kilometers per second and flash for a moment. Millions of these particles fall every day, but we only notice the brightest ones. Yet, every time you make a wish, look up at the sky and remember, what you see is the trail of a star that was born billions of years ago. Perhaps at that moment, the universe is truly listening, just quietly, in its own way. The female brain is not just a collection of neurons, it is a true conductor of emotions, memory, and feelings. It is structured slightly differently than the male brain. The connections between the hemispheres are more developed in women, allowing them to analyze and feel simultaneously. This is why a woman can think about 3 things at once: listening to a conversation, remembering where she left her keys, and making sure the tea doesn't boil over. The female brain is better at recognizing facial expressions and emotions, and it responds to words more subtly than it may seem. So when a woman says, "I just felt it," it's not mysticism. It's the result of her brain's incredibly precise functioning. The word nurse may seem familiar, but its history goes back centuries. Once in Latin, nutriere meant to breastfeed. Over time, the meaning expanded to refer to those who care for the sick, provide comfort, and help them recover. Indeed, the essence remains the same: care. Modern nurses may not breastfeed, but they continue to nurture, now with attention, warmth, and kindness. Each generation of nurses carries this ancient meaning: to be there when someone is suffering and to give them the strength to keep going. Octopuses are among the most devoted parents on the planet, willing to sacrifice their own lives for their offspring. The female lays thousands of tiny eggs, firmly attaching them to the ceiling of an underwater cave, and tirelessly guards them from predators. She fans the clutch with streams of water, cleans it, and monitors each embryo, not allowing herself to be distracted by anything else. For weeks of waiting, she eats nothing, gradually losing strength until the moment of hatching arrives. After that, the mother octopus dies from exhaustion, leaving behind a new generation. Scientists refer to this as an example of absolute maternal instinct, as the octopus gives everything it has for the continuation of life. People love to talk about themselves, and this is not just an observation, it's a scientific fact. Research shows that in a typical conversation, a person spends about 60% of the time talking about themselves, and this figure jumps to 80% on social media. We share stories, opinions, and funny incidents as if weaving ourselves into the conversation to be understood and heard. This isn't selfishness, it's a natural human need, a desire for connection and recognition. When we talk about ourselves, the brain releases dopamine, the pleasure hormone. That's why conversations where we are listened to with interest feel so warm. Scientists are already on the brink of a future where electricity can be transmitted wirelessly, like magic from science fiction. The principle is based on the use of magnetic fields or laser beams capable of transferring energy over distances. It sounds incredible, but initial experiments are already successful. A light bulb lights up without a socket, and a phone charges from afar. The idea is not new. Nikola Tesla dreamed of a world without wires, where energy flows freely through the air like radio waves. Today, his vision is gradually coming to life in laboratories around the globe. In a few decades, we might forget the word charging, as everything around us will power itself, from headphones to cars. Imagination is becoming reality, and it's very electric. In the Sahara, where it seems there is nothing but sand, live small foxes with huge ears, fennecs. Their ears, nearly 15 centimeters long, help them not only hear but also cool down. Blood flows through them, releasing excess heat into the air. This allows the fennec to avoid overheating even under the blazing sun. At night, when the desert cools, it curls up and hides its nose under its tail to retain warmth. This little creature embodies how nature turns vulnerability into strength. Small but with ears like radar, the fennec hears everything, even the breath of the wind. Our brain doesn't completely shut down when we sleep in a new place. Scientists refer to this as the first night effect. One half of the brain remains alert to protect us from potential threats. That's why we sleep worse in hotels or unfamiliar homes. It's an ancient survival instinct. The left hemisphere is more active on such nights, like a watchful dog ready to wake at the slightest noise. After a couple of nights, the brain calms down and starts to trust the new environment. It's fascinating. Even in sleep, our mind functions as a security system inherited from our distant ancestors. When people say computer bug, they usually think of software errors. But the first bug was very real. It was a moth. In 1947, in one of the earliest computers, the Harvard Mark II, an insect got stuck between the contacts, causing a malfunction. Engineers carefully removed it and glued it into a logbook with the note, "First recorded bug." Since then, this term has been used to describe all technical glitches. It's amusing that one tiny creature inadvertently gave the world a term familiar to every user. So, when your computer freezes, you can mentally blame not the code, but the spirit of that very moth. The Great Barrier Reef is not just an underwater location, but a living organism stretching over 2,000 kilometers. It is made up of billions of tiny polyps that create corals, and can even be seen from space. Thousands of species of fish, starfish, and turtles inhabit this true underwater metropolis. The reef cleans the ocean water, regulates the ecosystem, and protects the shores of Australia. However, it is currently suffering from warming and pollution, causing the corals to lose their color, bleach. Scientists around the world are fighting for its preservation, as losing the reef would be like losing the heart of the ocean. The female heart is an organ that lives in the rhythm of emotions. It beats slightly faster than a man's and is particularly sensitive to mood. When a woman is anxious, her heart races. When she smiles, it finds its rhythm. Scientists have even proven that a woman's heart can synchronize with the heart of a loved one if they are together for a long time. So the phrase, "hearts beat in unison," is not just a metaphor. Another wonder, during pregnancy, a woman's heart enlarges to pump more blood. It literally grows when new life begins inside. A heart that knows how to love, both physically and symbolically, beats a little more than usual. Imagine living on an island where ash falls from the sky almost every day, and the air smells of volcano. This is Sakurajima, a real active volcano in Japan, one of the most active on the planet. It erupts so frequently that the entire island is covered in a thin gray layer, like powder. The locals have long since adapted. They have special machines for cleaning the ash, and children are given helmets in schools. Yet people do not leave this amazing place. On the contrary, tourists come to witness nature's reminder of its power. Sakurajima is a symbol of strength and resilience. Life continues even beneath the volcano. Colorblind individuals see the world a bit differently, but that doesn't make their lives any less vibrant. Most people with this condition struggle with perceiving red and green hues. But the brain adapts. It paints the world in its own way. Some colorblind people notice details that escape the eyes of others because they are less distracted by color. For them, the world isn't gray, it's simply different, in a unique palette. Scientists are even developing glasses that help them see colors closer to the usual spectrum. This serves as a reminder that beauty lies not in shades, but in how we view the world. You may have heard that vending machines are more dangerous than sharks, and it's true. Every year, more people die from falling or tipping vending machines than from shark attacks. The issue is that some people try to shake the machine to get a stuck candy bar, causing it to fall. Scientists even joke, the most dangerous prize is chocolate. So if your candy bar doesn't drop, it's better to accept it. Sweet treats can wait, and life is more valuable. It's funny, but this fact reminds us of a simple truth. Real dangers aren't always lurking in the ocean. Sometimes they stand right by the office wall. Bishop Rock is a tiny island in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of England, considered the smallest inhabited island in the world. Its area is so small that it is less than that of a typical school classroom, just a few square meters. On this microscopic patch of land stands a lighthouse that has been guiding ships for centuries. The waves of the Atlantic rage around it, but the island stands firm against the elements, like a symbol of human strength and perseverance. Even such a minuscule piece of land can hold great significance and leave a mark on history. The story of Laika, the space dog, still touches hearts. In 1957, this little stray from Moscow became the first living being to orbit the Earth. She was launched aboard the satellite Sputnik 2. At that time, they didn't know how to bring the capsule back. But the experiment demonstrated that a living creature could endure weightlessness and G-forces. Laika did not return, but her flight was a crucial step towards future space expeditions. She remains a symbol of courage and sacrifice for science, a small dog that paved the way to the stars. What could be more heroic? Giraffes have an amazing feature. Their tongue is nearly half a meter long and colored dark blue or even black. This unusual shade is not just a quirk of nature, but a real protection against the sun. Giraffes spend many hours a day eating leaves from tall trees, with their tongues exposed to the scorching rays. The dark pigment acts like a natural sunscreen, preventing burns. Additionally, a giraffe's tongue is incredibly sticky and flexible, allowing it to grasp even thorny acacia branches. Nature clearly knew what it was doing when it created the perfect tool for life at great heights. The smallest horse in the world, named Thumbelina, looks like a character from a fairy tale. She stands just 43 centimeters tall and weighs less than 20 kilograms, roughly the size of a large dog. Born in the USA, she immediately captured people's hearts with her tiny grace. Despite her miniature size, Thumbelina is a true horse, stubborn, curious, and loves attention. Her owners even created a charity foundation through which she visits children's hospitals, bringing joy to the kids. Small but with a huge heart, Thumbelina has proven that greatness comes not from size, but from kindness. The capybara is the largest rodent on the planet and perhaps the most good-natured creature in South America. It can weigh over 60 kilograms and reach a meter in length, yet it leads a calm, almost philosophical lifestyle. Capybaras live in large groups, love water, and can hold their breath underwater for up to 5 minutes. Their friendliness is remarkable. They coexist peacefully with other animals and even allow birds to perch on their backs. Online, the capybara has become a symbol of harmony and balance as nothing seems to faze it. A true Zen on 4 legs. If you fold a regular sheet of paper 42 times, its thickness would reach the moon. Incredible but mathematically true. With each fold, the thickness doubles, and after just 20 folds, the sheet would be taller than a skyscraper. Of course, in reality this is impossible. The paper is too dense and would break long before achieving such results. But the idea itself illustrates the power of geometric progression. It serves as a reminder that small steps, repeated many times, can lead to enormous outcomes. Here's a vivid example of how math turns into magic. And now, a bit of magic from the lab. If you cool a substance almost to absolute zero, where the temperature is just a fraction of a degree above -273, it stops behaving like ordinary matter. The atoms begin to move in sync, as if singing a single note. This state is called a Bose-Einstein condensate. In this state, the substance exhibits strange properties. It flows without friction, passes through walls, and can hover in the air. Scientists refer to it as the fifth state of matter. So it turns out that if you cool the world down significantly, it becomes almost magical. Have you ever wondered why a candle flame dances when someone speaks? It's all about sound. The air vibrations from our voice affect the flame, causing it to tremble and bend. In laboratories, they even conduct experiments where music controls fire. The louder the sound, the stronger the vibrations. Some engineers create entire fire orchestras, where the flames dance to the rhythm of melodies. It becomes a living performance, where fire and sound become partners. So there you are, sitting by a candle, listening to music, and suddenly you realize, even fire can dance when there's a song nearby. High in the Andes lies Machu Picchu, an ancient Incan city built so ingeniously that it has withstood earthquakes for 5 centuries. Its walls are assembled without cement. The stones fit together so precisely that not even a knife blade can pass between them. When the ground shakes, they shift slightly and return to their place, as if alive. It's remarkable that people without modern technology created a structure resilient to disasters that can bring down concrete cities. Standing there among the clouds, you feel as if the mountain itself whispers, "We knew how to build in harmony with the earth." When you look at an ostrich, it's hard to believe that its eyes are the largest among all land animals. They are indeed bigger than its brain. Each eye measures about 5 centimeters in diameter, like huge amber lenses through which the bird can see for miles ahead. Thanks to this vision, the ostrich can spot a predator long before it gets close. Yes, its brain is tiny, but it's enough to make the right decision in time, to turn around and flee on its powerful legs. Sometimes nature reminds us that size of the mind isn't everything. What matters is recognizing danger in time. Elephants, despite their weight and grandeur, sometimes enjoy a little drink, all without human involvement. In the hot African savannas grows the marula tree, whose fruits, when overripe, begin to ferment naturally. Elephants love these fruits and consume them by the kilogram, unaware that they are getting a bit tipsy. After such a feast, they become lethargic, slow, and sometimes even lie down to rest. Scientists debate how real this effect is, but one thing is clear: elephants adore marula and won't miss the chance to indulge. It's amusing to think that somewhere in Africa, a massive elephant might be peacefully waiting out a hangover in the shade of the very tree that treated it. If animals were awarded for maternal cleverness, kangaroos would definitely take home the top prize. Female kangaroos have an amazing ability. They can pause their pregnancy if needed. This process is called embryonic diapause. When a mother kangaroo is already carrying a joey in her pouch, or when it's too hot and food is scarce, her body pauses the development of the next embryo. As soon as conditions improve, growth resumes. This natural trick helps kangaroos survive in harsh Australia, where rain can be absent for months. Imagine if humans could also postpone important tasks until better times. Life would surely be calmer. Messages in bottles can drift across the seas for decades, becoming messengers from the past. When someone tosses a bottle into the ocean, it can float for years before reaching the other shore. The longest journey of such a message lasted about 133 years. Amazing, isn't it? During that time, the bottle traveled thousands of kilometers and ended up on the other side of the world. People have always been drawn to this romance, sending a letter into the ocean, not knowing who will read it. In the age of the internet, this form of communication feels like a magical reminder of a time when patience and chance created the most incredible stories. Being born on February 29th means coming into the world on a day that occurs only once every 4 years. The odds of such an event are about 1 in 1,461, making leap year children true rarities. They are teased as eternal youths, since their official birthday only happens every 4 years. Of course, in practice, they celebrate either on February 28th or March 1st, but they still feel special. This rare day seems made for those who transcend the ordinary flow of time. It's as if the world is saying, "You were born when time itself took a pause." Ducks are true superheroes of the avian world, as they have 3 eyelids. In addition to the usual upper and lower ones, there's a third one, transparent, like a protective film. It moves from the side and helps to clean the eye from dust and water. Because of this, ducks can see well even underwater, and their vision remains sharp while diving. It's a natural swimming mask built right into their bodies. Imagine if humans had a similar feature. We could dive without goggles. Ducks demonstrate that evolution can create practical and brilliant solutions at the same time. And now hold on. Your phone knows you live in warp time. Yes, GPS wouldn't work without taking into account Einstein's theory of relativity. Satellites fly higher, where gravity is weaker, and time passes slightly faster than on Earth. The difference is in billionths of a second. But if it's not accounted for, your navigator would be off by kilometers. So every time you open the map and check where the nearest coffee shop is, remember, your smartphone is secretly adjusting space and time. Physics is literally helping you not to get lost. In the mid-1950s, science was turned upside down when 2 researchers, James Watson and Francis Crick, unveiled the secret of DNA's structure. They demonstrated that the foundation of life is a double helix, resembling an elegant staircase twisted into an infinite loop. This discovery became the key to understanding heredity, diseases, and evolution. For the first time, humanity saw how information is passed from one generation to the next. This marked the beginning of an era of genetic engineering, cloning, and personalized medicine. Who would have thought that within each cell lies such a complex and beautiful code? akin to a masterfully composed symphony, where each note is a part of life itself. The elephant's trunk is a true marvel of biomechanics, made up of about 40,000 muscles. It has no bones, yet it is so flexible and strong that it can lift a log or pick up a coin. Elephants use their trunks as a hand, nose, and trumpet all at once. They breathe, drink, greet, and even hug with it. For calves, the trunk resembles a playful toy that they learn to control over months. Scientists continue to be amazed by this organ. An ideal combination of strength and precision, the elephant proves that even in a massive body there can be remarkable grace. The giant weta is a true marvel of the insect world, weighing more than a sparrow and capable of frightening even an entomologist. These giant crickets live in New Zealand and can reach lengths of up to 10 centimeters and weights of around 70 grams. Despite their intimidating appearance, wetas are peaceful creatures that feed on leaves and fruits. Their massive bodies are a result of evolution on islands where there were no terrestrial mammals and thus no strong predators. Scientists consider the weta to be one of the oldest insects on the planet. Looking at it feels like peering into the past, into a world before dinosaurs. These heavyweights of nature remind us that even within a tiny body, a true story of the planet can be hidden. Giraffes sleep very little. It's one of the most remarkable adaptations in the animal kingdom. On average, these giants spend just over an hour a day sleeping, dozing in short bursts of a few minutes. It's all about safety. Standing in the middle of the savannah, a giraffe can't afford to fall into a deep sleep, as lions could be nearby. Sometimes they even sleep standing up, slightly lowering their heads onto their backs. Scientists believe that giraffes compensate for their lack of sleep with a unique brain structure that quickly recovers during these brief rest periods. They have truly mastered the art of the 5-minute nap. Now imagine that blinking is like a tiny pause in a movie. Every time you close your eyes, about 0.3 of a second pass. Throughout the day we blink around 15,000 times. These tiny moments refresh the tear film and protect our eyes from drying out. If you add up all the time we spend with our eyes closed, it turns out that in a lifetime a person blinks for a whole 3 years. Ironically, we don't even notice how often the world disappears for a split second. Yet we continue to see it as a whole. The painting Salvator Mundi by Leonardo da Vinci is one of the most mysterious and expensive works of art on the planet. It was sold at auction for $450 million, making it the most expensive painting in history. It depicts Christ holding a glass orb, a symbol of the universe and divine knowledge. For many years, the painting was thought to be lost until restorers found it in a private collection. Debates continue over whether the brushwork truly belongs to Leonardo himself. Regardless of the answers, this artwork has become a legend, reminding us that art can endure through the ages and provoke thought. Laughter is not just joy, it's also a beneficial workout for the heart. When we laugh, our blood vessels expand, blood circulates faster, and stress literally melts away. Scientists have proven that 10 minutes of genuine laughter can lower blood pressure and improve heart function. It's a kind of free therapy that you can give yourself at any moment. So when someone shares a funny story, the body perceives it as a gift. Therefore, laughter is not just fun. It's a biological magic that can extend life. It's no coincidence that they say a good mood is the best prevention against all illnesses. Did you know that coffee is not just a beverage but also one of the most valuable currencies in history? In Africa, where coffee culture began, beans were once used as money. Later in the Ottoman Empire, coffee was so expensive that women had the right to file for divorce if their husbands didn't provide them with a daily cup. In Europe, this drink was referred to as black gold and was considered a remedy for melancholy. Today, coffee is simply part of the morning routine, but behind every cup lies a story of passion, trade, and inspiration. You could say it does more than wake us up. It connects us to the whole world. Imagine this. There's a tiny nail living inside each of us. Seriously. The human body contains about 3 to 4 grams of iron, just enough to forge a small nail. This iron isn't just a random element. It makes life possible, as it helps our blood carry oxygen. Without it, we couldn't think, breathe, or move. So, you could say that each of us has a tiny piece of metal inside, making us stronger. Funny, isn't it? We seem to be made of flesh and blood, yet inside, there's a bit of steel. The largest snowflake in history was so enormous that it could be mistaken for a plate. And this is not a fairy tale but a fact recorded by meteorologists. In 1887, a snowflake measuring about 15 inches wide and 8 inches thick fell in the state of Montana. Imagine a snowflake the size of an adult's palm. Scientists believe that such giant crystals form under special conditions, when the air is very humid and the frost is mild. In these circumstances, snowflakes clump together, grow, and turn into true ice masterpieces. One could say it was the snowy version of a soap bubble, fragile, wonderful, and instantly disappearing. But this case forever entered the record books, proving that nature loves to surprise us even in places where we thought we had seen it all. The platypus is one of the strangest creatures on the planet. It has a bill like a duck, a tail like a beaver, and venomous spurs on its legs. Yes, male platypuses are indeed venomous, and their sting can cause intense pain. This Australian animal seems to be made from pieces of different animals, but nature knew what it was doing. It lays eggs, feeds its young with milk without nipples, and hunts with its eyes closed, using electromagnetic fields to sense its prey. The platypus is living proof that evolution has a sense of humor, creating ingenious and unique forms of life. Paper can be stronger than steel. And this is not a metaphor, but a scientific fact. Special processing technologies transform ordinary cellulose fibers into an ultra-strong material. In Japan, for example, they make traditional washi paper, which can withstand enormous loads and is even used in bulletproof vests. Its multi-layer structure and resin impregnation give it incredible flexibility and durability. Scientists are inspired by these properties to create lightweight yet strong protective materials. Who would have thought that a humble sheet of paper could compete with metal and become the shield of the future? In India, the world's longest shoe has been created, measuring 6.5 meters. Made from leather and fabric, it perfectly replicates the shape of a real shoe, only scaled up many times. This giant boot has made it into the Guinness World Records and has become a symbol of Indian craftsmanship. Tourists come to see it as if it were a work of art. The idea started as a joke but turned into a source of pride for the city. After all, sometimes it's these crazy ideas that inspire people to dream bigger, literally several meters bigger. Human vision is one of the most advanced among mammals. Our eyes are equipped with 3 types of cones sensitive to different wavelengths, allowing us to see thousands of shades and distinguish the subtlest nuances of color. Most animals have a much poorer vision. For example, dogs can only perceive yellow and blue tones. Thanks to our vision, the world is filled with colors, from the morning dawn to the rainbow after the rain. Scientists believe that our developed color perception has helped humans become artists, architects, and explorers. We don't just see the world around us, we feel it through colors, and that makes us special. You may have noticed that crows seem to understand us. This is no coincidence. Their intelligence is comparable to that of a 7-year-old child. Crows can solve problems, use tools, and even plan for the future. Once, scientists observed a crow dropping nuts on the road. It waited for cars to crush them, and then calmly picked up the kernels. They can also recognize people by their faces and hold grudges for years. So, if you ever decide to play a prank on a crow, be prepared. It won't forget, but it might forgive you if you bring it some cookies. In Slavic mythology, there was a legend about the bird Gamayun, the messenger of wisdom. Her feathers shone like gold, and her voice was so beautiful that even the beasts would pause to listen. Gamayun knew everything, the past, the present, and the future, but she shared her knowledge only with those who listened with their hearts. It was said that if you heard her song in a dream, fate would reveal a sign to you. She symbolized enlightenment, inspiration, and inner peace. Today, when we speak of intuition, we are essentially calling upon that very Gamayun, just in modern terms. In Madagascar lives a tiny marvel, a chameleon smaller than a fingernail. Its length is just 29 millimeters. This little one can fit on the tip of a finger, yet it retains all the abilities of its larger relatives. It changes the color of its body, catches insects with its long tongue, and moves with regal grace. Scientists discovered it only in 2012 and were astonished nature had managed to create an almost invisible predator. Despite its size, this mini chameleon reminds us that greatness is measured not in centimeters, but in the ability to survive and astonish in the most unexpected forms. Lions are the true kings of the savannah, but if you found yourself among them, you would be surprised by how much time they spend sleeping. These mighty predators can sleep for up to 20 hours a day. During the day, lions lazily lounge in the shade, becoming active only at dawn and dusk. Sleep is their way of conserving energy for hunting. Interestingly, females sleep a bit less, as they are the ones who hunt more often. It's amusing that even the most fearsome creatures value a good rest. Perhaps the lion is the best proof that kings are meant to sleep longer than anyone else. Cat purring is not just an expression of pleasure, but also a means of self-healing. When a cat purrs at a frequency of around 25 Hz, its body literally heals itself. These vibrations stimulate the regeneration of bones and tissues, aid in healing, and even reduce stress. That's why cats purr not only when they're happy, but also when they're sick or injured. Scientists refer to this as natural physiotherapy, while pet owners call it the magic of furry friends. So when your pet is comfortably purring in your lap, it's not just content, it's healing itself and perhaps a little bit of you too. Lightning often strikes the same place repeatedly, and this is no coincidence. There are several regions on the planet where thunderstorms occur almost daily. For example, over Lake Victoria in Africa, lightning flashes hundreds of times a year. This is due to a combination of humid air and constant rising heat currents. Electrical discharges tend to choose locations with good conductivity, mountain peaks, metal structures, or simply areas of high moisture in the ground. Therefore, the saying, "lightning doesn't strike twice," is just a nice metaphor. Nature is quite capable of repeating itself, and not just once. Once in ancient Babylon, there was a strange tradition known as the dinner lottery. People would gather for a feast, each bringing a dish to share. Everything was placed on a communal table, and then the food was randomly distributed among the participants. No one knew what they would receive, an extravagant roast or a humble stew. The essence was not in the food, but in the joyful spirit of surprise. This idea later inspired many dining games and even modern culinary festivals. It's amusing that thousands of years ago, people knew how to turn an ordinary dinner into a celebration of chance and cheerful interaction. When the plane ascends into the sky, it feels as if everything is held up by the will of wonders. But behind it lies strict physics. Flight is made possible by four forces: lift, thrust, drag, and gravity. The wings create lift, the engines provide thrust, while air resistance and Earth's pull work to bring the plane back down. The balance among these forces allows the massive machine to soar like a bird. Its magic explained by equations. Each flight is proof of how humanity has tamed the air. And in the sky, we are all a bit like wizards, having conquered a realm that once seemed unattainable. In Norway, amidst the rugged cliffs and cold waves of the North Sea, there is a remarkable place, the underwater restaurant Under. Its name translates to below, and it speaks for itself. It is the first restaurant in Europe completely submerged underwater. Guests descend a staircase, and through a massive panoramic window, they are greeted by the underwater world, fish, jellyfish, and the play of light and shadow. The interiors are designed in Scandinavian minimalism, and the dishes are prepared from seafood caught literally outside the window. Here, food becomes part of the ocean, and dining turns into a true adventure. This place seems to connect humanity and the sea in a single breath. Venice is the only city in the world built directly on water. It stands on more than 120 islands, connected by 400 bridges, with thousands of wooden piles beneath each house. These were driven into the mud back in the Middle Ages, and remarkably they have not rotted. This is because there is no oxygen underwater, and the wood, infused with minerals, has gradually turned into a nearly stone-like material. The city lives to the rhythm of the waves and gondolas, and each morning begins with the reflection of light in the canals. Venice seems to be crafted not by hands, but by the music of water. A city that doesn't just stand, but floats on history. Octopuses are true artists of the ocean, earning the nickname decorators of the sea. They love to adorn their homes with shells, stones, and pieces of coral. Scientists have observed how an octopus collects items to make its den cozy or camouflaged. Sometimes it even uses coconut halves, stacking them like a shield. This behavior demonstrates a high level of intelligence. An octopus doesn't just instinctively dig a burrow. It consciously chooses its design. It seems that if there were a competition for interior design in the ocean, this eight-armed architect would surely take first place. Babies can cry from day one, but if you listen closely, you might notice one oddity. Their tears are not really tears. In the first weeks of life, newborns make loud sounds and scrunch their faces, but their tear ducts aren't functioning yet. It's only after a month or two that their eyes start to produce real moisture. Until then, this crying without tears helps the baby communicate with the world, calling for mom, expressing discomfort, or simply demanding attention. It's amusing that a person first learns to scream, and only later to cry for real. Perhaps that's why adult tears are so rare. They come when feelings can no longer be contained. One of the most persistent myths is about the New World Order. Proponents of this theory believe that behind global events lies a group of leaders, banks, and corporations that supposedly want to establish a global government. This idea combines a fear of power with a longing for control. Psychologists suggest that conspiracy theories help people find meaning in chaos. If everything can be explained by someone's design, then the world seems less random. Interestingly, belief in conspiracies is also a way to cope with anxiety. Sometimes it's easier to believe in a secret plan than to accept that no one is in charge. In Japan, buildings are made of paper. It sounds crazy, but it's a modern technology. Architects use recycled paper reinforced with special resins to create temporary pavilions, exhibition halls, and even schools. This material is lightweight, warm, and eco-friendly, and it is also resistant to moisture and fire due to special treatment. One well-known Japanese architect built an entire pavilion from paper tubes, and it stood for years. These projects prove that even a fragile material can become a symbol of sustainability and environmental care. This is the essence of Japan, where beauty and practicality meet in the most unexpected forms. The Hercules beetle is a true heavyweight of the insect world, capable of lifting weights 850 times its own. Imagine a person lifting an entire bus. That's roughly what this beetle can do. Its powerful horns help it fight for territory and impress females, while its tough exoskeleton protects it from enemies. It inhabits the tropical forests of South America, where it is regarded as a symbol of resilience and strength. Scientists marvel at its anatomy. Despite its small size, the beetle possesses a muscular power that would make weightlifters envious. The Hercules beetle truly lives up to its name. Nature was clearly inspired by myths. Some buildings can stay cool without air conditioning, and it's not magic but engineering. Architects use special technologies, reflective coatings, green roofs, and ventilation channels that create natural air circulation. In hot countries, these homes are cooled by the shade of plants and the reflection of sunlight. Even ancient builders understood this principle. In Persia, they constructed wind catchers that lowered indoor temperatures. Modern smart buildings draw on this experience to save energy. Thus, architecture is returning to nature, proving that coolness can be achieved not just by a button but by intellect. Sometimes icebergs are striped, like giant icy watermelons. Their colorful layers form due to the way ice develops. Green stripes come from algae, blue from dense old ice, and yellow and brown from iron and sand impurities. When the sun illuminates these icy sculptures, they shimmer in all the shades of the rainbow, turning into true masterpieces of nature. Scientists believe that the color and structure of icebergs help study the climate of the past. As if the ice holds the Earth's history within its layers, it serves as a reminder that even cold can be beautiful. Now let's talk about the tongue. The one in your mouth. It's the only muscle in the body that is attached on just one side. It never gets tired as it works even while we sleep, helping with swallowing and supporting breathing. Each person's tongue print is unique, just like fingerprints. Scientists are even developing technologies for identifying individuals based on their tongue print. It's amusing that the organ we use to taste food and chat endlessly also holds our individuality. So the phrase "find your tongue" can be taken literally. Everyone has their own one-of-a-kind tongue. In Italy, there is a village called Bronte, where houses stand directly on solidified lava. When Mount Etna erupted centuries ago, the lava flows cooled, forming dense stone layers. People decided this was an excellent foundation for construction, and homes, streets, and churches grew right on top of them. To this day, locals live at the foot of the active volcano and believe that the ancient lava protects them from new eruptions. Walking through Bronte, one can see that the stones underfoot are remnants of former fire. The town built on lava has become a symbol of how humans can tame nature and make it their foundation. Jellyfish are almost otherworldly creatures, and for good reason. They are made up of water almost entirely, about 95%. This allows them to float in the ocean like living clouds. They have neither a heart nor a brain, yet they have existed on Earth for hundreds of millions of years, outlasting dinosaurs and ice ages. Their transparent bodies catch the sunlight, making it seem as if they are woven from light. Despite their fragility, jellyfish are perfectly adapted to life. They serve as a reminder that it's not the strongest who survive, but those who know how to go with the flow and use it to their advantage. The Lego company maintains a secret underground vault in Denmark that houses every set ever released since the company's founding. It's a true museum of childhood hidden beneath the surface, where thousands of boxes are organized by year, chronicling the evolution of creativity. From the first wooden blocks to modern robots, everything is meticulously preserved. Only a select few employees have access, as it is a corporate sanctuary. Here, one can trace the history of ideas, witnessing how plastic toys have become a global cultural phenomenon. The Lego Vault is not just an archive. It symbolizes how childhood dreams become timeless. Many believe that organic food is healthier, tastier, and almost magical, but science takes a more measured view. Research shows that the difference in vitamins and minerals between conventional and organic products is negligible. Of course, organic food contains fewer pesticides and is grown without chemical fertilizers, which is good for the environment. However, when it comes to health benefits, there are no miracles. An apple remains an apple, regardless of how it's grown. People often note that the taste of clean products seems richer, possibly because they feel more environmentally conscious. Ultimately, choosing between organic and conventional food is a matter of philosophy. Some prioritize taste, while others value the feeling of eating with care for the planet. In Africa, there lives a snake that seems to defy all the laws of physics. It can fly, or rather, glide through the air between trees. This amazing reptile is called the flying tree snake, and it flattens its body as if turning it into a wing. When the snake jumps from a branch, it catches the air with its curved body and glides for distances of up to 20 meters. It looks as if it is soaring like a leaf, but with much more agility. This trick helps it escape from predators and reach its prey without touching the ground. Scientists are still debating how it manages to control its flight so precisely without wings. Perhaps it senses air currents with its skin. Here you have the flying snake, proof that nature is unafraid to experiment even with gravity. The name Coca-Cola originated from two ingredients, coca leaves and cola nuts. In the late 19th century, pharmacist John Pemberton created the drink as a tonic for fatigue. At that time, the recipe included natural coca extract, which was later replaced with a harmless flavoring. The drink quickly became a symbol of energy, youth, and the American way of life. The logo, designed by Pemberton's bookkeeper, has hardly changed in 100 years, a rare example of a brand that has survived through the ages. Coca-Cola has long transformed from a beverage into a cultural phenomenon, recognizable even in places without electricity. There is a fish that can live without water, and it's not a fairy tale. The climbing perch, found in Asia, can breathe atmospheric air and move on land using its fins like legs. It can crawl through grass or mud, searching for a new river or pond if the old one has dried up. Scientists admire its resilience. Species like this could have been the ancestors of terrestrial animals. The climbing perch may look unassuming, but its ability to endure heat and dryness makes it a true symbol of adaptation. It's an example of how life always finds a way to move forward, even on land. Blinking is one of the fastest and most unnoticed movements of our body, but it hides real magic. Each blink lasts about 0.3 of a second, and a person does it roughly 20,000 times a day. While we blink, our eyes are moisturized, cleaned of dust, and our brains get a brief moment of rest. Scientists have even found that people blink in sync during conversations, as if their bodies are adjusting to one another. So, blinking is not just a reflex, it's a subtle way for the body to take care of itself. Our eyes literally breathe with each blink. When you hear king, you immediately think of grandeur and power. But Louis XII, known as the Sun King, surpassed them all. He ruled France for a remarkable 72 years and 110 days, longer than any monarch in history. Under his reign, France became the center of fashion, art, and splendor. Louis loved extravagance, hosted grand balls, built Versailles, and set the tone for all of Europe. It is said that he identified so closely with the state that he famously declared, "L'État, c'est moi." And honestly, in his case, that was not far from the truth. It may seem like ordinary things, but if you take a closer look, they hold the most unexpected stories. If you enjoyed this journey through the world of curiosities, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. There's even more to come that textbooks have kept silent about.